Hi everyone, I'm Abnohr, Abnohr. You can find my work on artbyabnohr.com. Today I'm going to show you how to do a swipe painting. It's an acrylic pour swipe. The materials that you'll need are a Premier Gallery canvas. That's what I've got here on the table. On the back, you always want to prep your reverse of your canvas to make sure that no paint gets to the back. The back is just as important as the front, especially when it comes to the quality of your finalized product. What I did is I took a little bit of a plastic sheathing. You can get this at Lowe's, Home Depot, standard store. And also on the corners, I took a painter's tape and ran it across the edges so that it secures on the edges so that the paint doesn't run over onto the back. If it does, you can just do a little gesso when you're finished after you pull it off, and it nicely covers it. Now we're going to turn this around, and as you see, you have a nice clean canvas. And on the table, I have some sheathing as well, so you can clean up easily afterwards for any paint that spills over from your canvas. And there's just 4 little bowls that I sit on the corners so that the paint can run over the edges. Now the materials that I'm using today are Nicole's craft paints. I'm using black, neon pink, violet, white, evergreen, and Granny Smith. Now they come in these small containers, and they're pretty nice bright colors. They cost you about $1 a bottle, and you can get them from A.C. Moore or Michael's. They're just a standard paint supply store or craft store. Also, I'm using Floetrol, which is a latex-based additive. This is very nice because it makes your paint flow nicely. That costs about $14 a bottle, and you can get that at Lowe's or A.C. Moore. Well, no, not A.C. Moore. It's Lowe's or Home Depot. Actually, this is a pretty standard product as well. Now your total materials are going to cost you about $50, give or take a little. And that's relatively inexpensive. You could use higher quality paints. You could use, something that's much more expensive and do a much more expensive painting. But today I'm doing a painting that actually shows you what you can do with some less expensive products and how nicely it can turn out. Also, I'm going to work on flowers today. We're going to do a black, what's called a black swipe, and it's going to look somewhat like a garden when it's finished. So let's get started. Now what you need to do is to take 1/3 of your Floetrol, mix it into a container about this size. I use all kinds of plastic containers. I like my little yogurt because it has a lid to it. It actually is pretty nice to mix. You take about 2/3 of your Floetrol, then you mix in your paint, and then you take water and you put water inside the bottle. Once you've emptied the bottle, you shake that up real good, and then you pour it into your mix. Then after you mix it all up real good, stir it, you put in a treadmill belt lubricant, which is a silicone. It's 100% silicone. That actually gives you what are called cells, and we'll talk about cells a little bit later. Now after you mix up all your paints, you pour them into these little bottles. Now these are like ketchup and mustard bottles, and they're very controllable. Much more controllable than just pouring paint out onto your canvas. You can get these probably at the dollar store or at Walmart. relatively inexpensive. Again, I think you could get 2 for $1 at the dollar store, and they're really nice because they're plastic and they're reusable. If you finish with a specific color of paint, you can wash them out, clean them up, and put in a different color if you'd like. Alright, well, we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you what I like to do on the outsides of the painting. This is messy, and I use my hands a lot, so, you know, if you want to cover your hands with plastic gloves or something like that, that's fine, but I don't. So, what I like to do is I like to do the edges of the painting. I just pour a little bit of the paint around the edges so that it's going to give it a nice flow. I leave the top open. And you just pour that around, go over your edges, make your edges black, because again, as I said, this is going to be a black swipe painting. Just doesn't matter. If messy is okay. I mean, this is art, and it's painting, and painting can be messy. So you just do that. Just kind of run it across there. Then wipe your hands off. Now we're going to lay our color. And the reason we do this with the black on the edges is so that when you put your color on, that the paint flows nicely over the sides and you still have black on the sides since you're swiping in black. Alright, well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shake my bottles up a little bit. I have, whoops, ooh, that one's messy. I have purple, pink, white, evergreen, and Granny Smith. Now we're going to start with the evergreen, and all you need to do is just pour it across your painting like this, and just give it a little flow. And do it all the way across the painting. Now I'm going to take a little bit of white. Now white you don't put silicone in because white is dense, but everything else you do when you're mixing, you put the silicone in. And when the swipe takes place, you're going to see what's going to happen here, and it's just going to make this look absolutely gorgeous. Just doing that. Okay, this is our purple color. Let's do a little purple across here, a little purple here, and a little down here. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Messy's okay. Now this is our pink. This is a neon pink. Beautiful color. I'm going to run that right across there. Even put a little splash here and there since it's such a pretty pink. Now, our Granny Smith, just a really nice green color. Gives it a little contrast. It's a lighter green. Okay, and that's about it. Now we're going to do our swipe. I like to use Viva paper towels to do the swipe. And the reason being is because they're strong. Your towel should be damp. So make sure you dampen it ahead of time. And it should be the length of your painting. This one being 24 inches across, you should have at least that much. Inviva towels to be able to go across the painting. Now, put a lot of black on there. It's okay if it runs over the edges, it should. You also want it to come across here, run it across these edges so that everything is covered. Keep pouring that on there. You have a lot of black on top. But actually this is going to be your bottom when it's finished. So you take your Viva towel, lay it down, let it soak up some of that black, and then run it across your painting, run it across your colors. And keep going down to the very end of the painting. Once you get to the end, just pull it off and throw it away. Now you need to let this work, and it's going to take a few minutes until you start seeing what are called cells. These things in here, they're called cells, and that's what comes up on your canvas because of the silicone. Now on here, I'm going to put a little bit more black, since that drug some of the black off when we pulled the black down. And it's also okay to let it run a little bit. You can pick it up, let the black run across the bottom so everything looks nice and clean. Actually, I'm going to pick up and go the other way too, just a little bit. I'm going to take some of this color, and on the top I'm going to make some flowers. Now I have pink, I have the Granny Smith, I have the purple. I think the purple would really look nice. So we're going to put some purple down here. Just squirt it on, a whole bunch. It's okay if it's not perfect again. A little bit here, a little bit there. And let's put some pink into that. Maybe a little bit of white in the middle. Messy. It's okay. And then what we want to do at this point is to get a straw. And blow it around a little bit. And as you can see, it's making it look like it's flowery. Again, it's okay if it's a little messy. Well, this is nice because some of the other colors are coming out. And just keep blowing on it. Now I'm going to come over here, do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to take some color, some green, and just flow that right down into the bottom. Do the same thing with your evergreen. You can go across here, make some leaves so that they look more like flowers and stems. Need to keep working your paint. Now let's take a little bit of white. Oh, that's purple. Wrong one. Alright, let's take a little bit of white and go down here. It's a little more contrast. And this one you can just blow on it. And as you see, it really just adds to the beauty of the picture. Nothing is perfect, and it doesn't have to be. I'll just bring this up a little bit. My straw, bring this up and around. Actually come down into the stem. Do the same thing here. And on this side as well. I like to take a little palette knife. Here's my knife. And just give it a little bit of a mix. So running it down. So it brings out your cells and your colors and brings them together a little bit. You don't want to go too much, but just enough to give it a nice appearance. You should always have a rag handy because it helps to keep your materials and your tools clean. You don't want to keep going back onto the canvas if you have other colors on your knife. Did you get the idea? And all the way down. Just take a moment to look at your painting and see if there's anything else that you might like to add. I'd like to add a little bit of green here, a little bit here, over here, just to give the bottom a little bit more of a flare. Maybe a little bit more here. Remember, this is an abstract garden, so abstracts are not perfect, and they're not meant to be. And that's what's lovely about them, because they can be anything that you want them to be. As you can see, there's much more control of the paint when you're using these little bottles. Mix that in. That just splashed over, but that's okay. Gives it a little bit more character. And I'm thinking it might even look nice if we add splashes of color at the bottom. And we have all this beautiful color going on behind it. I wonder if splashes of color might make it look really pretty too. Let's just tilt it a little bit. Let it run. Okay. Well, I have to just ask myself, is that it? And you know what? It really does look like it's it. I'm not sure if I really think the splashes of color would look too good or not. They might. Maybe we can just add a flower here or there at the bottom, but I think the bottom is meant more for the stems. So, just a little bit more of our palette knife in here. Maybe a little bit more white. I think the white coming down here might look good. A bit more white here. Pull that over like that. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Pull this up. Actually makes your flower look like it has more of a base to it. It's okay to be a little messy. I said it's not perfect. When it dries, it'll look awesome. There we go, we have that one too. We almost forgot this little guy. Okay, I think that's it. Alright, now all you do is you sign your name to it. I usually sign mine in the bottom right hand corner. Sign as Abnohr. It's A-B-N-O-H-R. I can be found at artbyabnohr.com. Artbyabnohr.com is my website. I'm also on Etsy on Art by Abnohr. You'll find my designs. I put them into clothing, and I've also made tote bags and all kinds of other neat things. So if you take a look at Art by Abnohr on Etsy, you'll see a lot of those items. Also, I'm on Abnohr8 on Instagram. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed your little video.